Dear Starseed from Gaia, he is already moving toward you, and the moment you release the watch, the wait, the wondering, is the moment the universe can finally close the distance between you. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I carry this transmission directly from the reunion guides, delivered to you in this exact moment because your soul has reached a threshold that cannot be ignored. This is not coincidence. This is not content. This is a transmission your heart called in, and something deep within you already knows what it means. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to release the energetic grip of longing so your divine counterpart can find his way back to you or forward to you without obstruction. But here is the first revelation. The searching itself has been the barrier. Not because you are doing something wrong, but because the energy of waiting signals to the universe that what you desire is still somewhere far away. The reunion guides are asking you today to practice a different kind of faith, the kind that does not look at the door, but simply trusts that it will open. You did not find this video by chance. Your heart called this message in. The twin flame journey you have been walking, sometimes in silence, sometimes in tears, sometimes in the quiet ache of almost it has been preparing you for a love that will not need to be chased. It will simply arrive. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready for divine love. Subscribe if you are on the twin flame path and aligning with sacred union. Comment 1111 if you feel your heart awakening to divine truth right now. This is not just a message. It is a moment of divine intervention. And you, dear Starseed from Gaia, have been guided here because the reunion guides see what you cannot yet see from where you are standing, that he is closer than your worry has allowed you to believe, and that everything is about to change the moment you finally, fully, come back to yourself. Your heart knows why you are here, and that recognition, that quiet ache you felt the moment those words landed, that is not coincidence. That is your soul, already knowing what your mind is still trying to catch up to. What you just felt, that quiet ache mixed with recognition, is not sadness. It is your frequency remembering what it came here to receive. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the Divine Love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. Now let's go deeper. Because what most people are never told, what no one sitting across from you at a coffee table or scrolling past your life on a screen will ever say out loud, is that the reason love hasn't arrived isn't because something is wrong with you. It's because something profound is happening inside of you. And the universe, in its immaculate and sometimes maddening intelligence, will not allow your divine counterpart to enter a space that hasn't been prepared to receive them. Think about that for a moment. Not as a consolation, not as spiritual comfort food, but as a literal energetic law. You cannot broadcast one frequency and attract another. You cannot carry the wound of unworthiness in your chest and expect someone who loves themselves completely to feel at home in your energy. It doesn't work that way. And deep down, beneath every sleepless night and every moment you've wondered if love forgot your name, you've always known this. There is a part of you, the oldest and wisest part, the part that existed before this body and this name and this particular chapter of longing, that has always known the truth your surface mind keeps trying to argue its way around. That part of you is listening right now, and it is nodding, because this is not new information being delivered to you. This is ancient knowing being returned to you, layer by layer, in the exact sequence your readiness requires. The real reason most souls on this path struggle isn't a lack of love in the world. It isn't bad luck or bad timing or some cosmic punishment. It's a wound. An old one that was handed down and handed down again through generations of people who also forgot their own worth. Your grandmother may have carried it. Her mother before her certainly did. The women who came before you in the long, unbroken line of your lineage, they moved through their lives quietly performing the belief that love was a reward, not a birthright, that it had to be earned through sacrifice, through smallness, through the careful pruning of every part of themselves that might be considered too much. And somewhere along the way, you absorbed that belief quietly, invisibly, the way children absorb everything as truth, as the shape of how love works, that you have to earn it, that you have to be enough, that you have to fix yourself first, that you have to shrink, or perform, or wait until you're somehow more deserving of the thing your soul is literally made of. That wound did not arrive with fanfare. It arrived through a tone of voice, through a silence where warmth should have been, through the moment someone you loved looked through you instead of at you, and your small heart drew the only conclusion it knew how to draw, that you were the variable, that you were the thing that needed adjusting. That wound lives in the heart chakra, and it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't walk up to you and say, "I am the reason you push people away right before they get close." It doesn't say, "I am the reason you attract partners who mirror your own sense of inadequacy back to you." It doesn't say, "I am the reason you over-explain yourself in arguments," or why you feel guilty when someone loves you too easily, or why peace in a relationship makes you nervous in a way that drama never does. It just sits there, humming at a frequency that keeps broadcasting the same signal and drawing in the same lessons until the day you finally turn toward it and say, "I see you, and I'm ready to let you go." That turning is not a small thing. It is perhaps the bravest act a human heart can perform, because the wound is familiar, the wound is known, and in a strange, painful, deeply human way, the wound has been keeping you company. Letting it go means choosing the unfamiliar. It means stepping into a silence that once terrified you, and discovering that what lives in that silence is not emptiness, but the fullness of who you actually are, beneath every story you were handed before you were old enough to question it. This is the first sacred key, and it is the one every other key depends on. You must unlock the chamber of self-worth before your divine counterpart can find the door. Not because you need to be perfect, not because healing has a finish line, but because love at this frequency, the kind your soul is reaching for, requires that you believe in the most cellular and irreversible way that you are already worthy of it. Not when you lose the weight, not when you've processed every trauma, not when you've become someone easier to love. Right now, as you are, with every scar still tender and every question still unanswered, with the parts of yourself you've never shown anyone, and the parts of yourself that still surprise you in the dark. Worthy now. Worthy completely. Worthy not as something you've concluded intellectually, but as something you feel in your bones, in your breath, in the way you take up space in a room without apologizing for existing in it. When this key turns, something shifts in your energetic field that no vision board or manifestation journal can replicate. The quality of your silence changes. The way you hold yourself changes. The invisible signal you broadcast into the world, that constant, wordless transmission that every sensitive soul in your orbit picks up without being able to explain why, changes fundamentally. You stop attracting what you fear and start attracting what you are. And what you are, at your deepest level, is not your history. You are not your longest wound, or your most humiliating heartbreak, or the story someone else wrote about you before you knew you had the right to edit it. What you are, at your deepest level, is love itself. Unconditional, unending, luminous in a way that the ego can barely stand to look at, but the soul recognizes instantly. The second key is one that will change the way you see every relationship you've ever had, including the ones that broke you open, especially those. Your divine counterpart is not coming to complete you. That story, the one about finding your other half. Your missing piece is one of the most beautiful and most damaging myths your heart has ever held onto. It is the mythology of romantic culture, fed to you through films and songs and the breathless declarations of people in new love who have not yet discovered that the electricity they feel is not completion but recognition. Because as long as you believe you are incomplete without them, you will keep drawing in people who confirm that incompleteness rather than celebrating your wholeness. You will keep building relationships on the architecture of need rather than the foundation of choice. And relationships built on need, no matter how passionately they begin, will eventually collapse under the weight of what they were never designed to carry. Here is the sacred truth. Your counterpart arrives to reflect what you have already healed. They are a mirror, not a rescue. They are a resonance, not a remedy. And this is why the deepest twin flame connections often feel so disorienting at first. Because when someone reflects your own light back to you after a lifetime of only seeing your wounds, it can feel almost too bright to look at directly. It can feel overwhelming in the way that stepping from a dim room into full sunlight is overwhelming. Not because the light is too much, but because your eyes have been adjusted to the dark for so long. You don't recognize yourself in that reflection. Not yet. The wholeness feels foreign. The love feels almost suspicious, because it doesn't arrive with the familiar ache of earning it. But you will recognize yourself. Layer by layer, encounter by encounter, you will learn to meet your own reflection without flinching. And the moment you do, everything, absolutely everything, rearranges itself around that recognition. The relationship becomes something neither of you has a word for yet, because it exists at a frequency the ordinary vocabulary of romance cannot adequately contain. This is why stopping the search is not giving up. It is not resignation or surrender in the defeated sense of that word. It is the most spiritually courageous thing you can do, because the search, in its desperate form, is a declaration that what you need is outside of you. And that declaration, however sincere, broadcasts a signal of lack into the very field you are trying to magnetize. Your soul cannot attract from a place of lack what can only be summoned from a place of fullness. The moment you stop searching and start arriving into your own life, your own body, your own sovereign and radiant wholeness is the moment the field shifts. It is the moment the universe stops showing you what you're missing and starts delivering what you've become. The third key is the one most people resist the longest because it asks you to grieve. Not loudly, not necessarily with tears, though tears are sacred and should never be held back when they come, but deeply, honestly, fully. Not the person you lost, not the relationship that ended, but the version of love you were promised by a world that did not understand what you were truly capable of. The fairy tale that was handed to you before you had the discernment to question its terms. The version of love that required you to be less, so that someone else could feel like more. You are carrying energetic agreements right now, soul-level contracts made with people who were meant to teach, not to stay. And these contracts, these invisible tethers between your energy and theirs, do not dissolve simply because the relationship has ended. They persist. They hum. They keep a portion of your frequency occupied with unfinished business, with unspoken words, with grief that was swallowed rather than expressed. And until those contracts are consciously, deliberately, lovingly dissolved, your energy field remains partially occupied. There is no room for the new when the old is still tethered to your frequency. Think of it this way. You would not plant new seeds in soil that has not been cleared of the roots of what grew before. And yet so many seekers on this path move from one relationship to the next, carrying the full energetic weight of every connection that came before, wondering why nothing new can fully take root. This is not about forgiveness as a performance. It is not about standing in the mirror reciting affirmations about people who genuinely hurt you, trying to force a feeling of benevolence you haven't yet arrived at. It is not about pretending that what happened was acceptable, or that you were not hurt. Real wounds deserve real acknowledgement. The grief is real. The betrayal in many cases was real, and you do not have to minimize any of that to be free of it. What this key asks is simply this: that you recognize every person who has ever disappointed you was operating at the exact level of consciousness they had access to in that moment, not the level you needed them to operate at, not the level they perhaps aspired to when the relationship began, the level they actually had. They could not give you what they had not yet found in themselves, and neither could you, neither could any of us. We are all, always, doing the most sophisticated version of love that our current consciousness allows. Releasing them is not releasing the memory. Memory can remain, because memory is data, and data can carry wisdom. Releasing them is releasing the energetic hook that keeps you both suspended in a story that has already completed its purpose. It is the graceful act of saying, "You taught me what I needed to learn here, and I release you to the rest of your journey as I release myself to mine." When this key turns, you will feel lighter in a way that is almost disorienting, like you've been walking in water for years, and someone finally handed you solid ground. Like a sound you'd stopped noticing because it had become constant background noise, suddenly, mercifully, ceases. And in that new quiet, you will hear something you haven't heard in a very long time, the clear, unhurried voice of your own soul, speaking its truth without interference. The fourth key is the one the human mind fights hardest, because it requires the surrender of control. And the mind loves control. The mind has built elaborate systems around control. It tracks timelines, runs projections, calculates the odds, monitors the progress, and quietly tortures itself with every deviation from the plan it had decided was the right one. Divine timing is not delay. I want you to hear that again because your analytical mind will argue with it every single time your calendar says one thing and your soul says another. Divine timing is not delay. It is not the universe's polite way of telling you that your desire isn't valid. It is not cosmic indifference dressed up in spiritual language. The universe is not punishing you by making you wait. It is not indifferent to your longing. It feels your longing. It is composed of love, and love does not turn away from love in need. What it does, what the great, immaculate intelligence of this universe does in its breathtaking complexity, is engineer conditions that your current perspective cannot fully see. It is aligning frequencies across distances you cannot measure, clearing paths whose obstacles you do not yet know about, awakening your counterpart in their own perfect sequence in a place and a life and a season of their own becoming that you cannot access from where you stand right now. And simultaneously, with infinite patience and infinite precision, it is deepening the chambers of your own heart so that when the meeting happens, when it finally, inevitably happens, it lands not as a fantasy fulfilled, but as a truth confirmed, not as something you longed for and finally received, but as something you already knew and finally recognized standing in front of you. There is a version of you that already lives in that love. That version is not waiting, they are becoming. Right now, in this moment, with this transmission finding you exactly when it was meant to find you, you are in the act of becoming that version. And the distance between who you are right now and who that version of you is does not close through desperation. It does not close through manifesting harder or visualizing more intensely or holding your breath against the arrival. It closes through devotion. The quiet, daily, unspectacular, and utterly sacred devotion to your own becoming. Devotion to the journey, even when the journey doesn't feel linear. Devotion to the radical act of trusting something larger than your fear, especially on the days when trust feels like the most unreasonable thing anyone has ever asked of you. The fifth key is perhaps the most exhilarating and the most misunderstood, because it sounds simple, and in its essence it is simple, but the path to embodying it is the work of a lifetime freely chosen. Becoming the energy you seek is not a manifestation technique. It is not a strategy. It is not about acting happy when you're not, or performing a vibration you haven't actually accessed, or pretending you've arrived somewhere you haven't. That kind of spiritual bypassing the forced positivity, the affirmation applied like a bandage over an unexamined wound, does not raise your frequency. It only adds a layer of inauthenticity to the signal you're already broadcasting. The fifth key is about something far more real than that. It is about this. The love you are looking for has a frequency, not a metaphorical frequency, not a poetic approximation, an actual, measurable, energetic signature that your body, your heart, your entire energetic field is capable of broadcasting right now, from right where you are, not because you're performing it, because you're embodying it, because you've sat with enough of your own darkness that you no longer fear it, because you've done enough of the inner work that love has stopped being something you hunger for and started being something you radiate. The difference between hunger and radiation is the difference between lack and wholeness, and it is felt by every person who enters your field, whether they have language for it or not. When you walk into a room vibrating at the frequency of genuine self-love, not arrogance, not performance, but the deep, settled, quiet, knowing that you are worthy of the beautiful, that you deserve to take up space, that your presence is a gift rather than an imposition, something shifts in the field around you. People feel it before you speak. They orient toward you in ways they cannot explain. There is something magnetic about a person who is truly, deeply at peace with themselves, not because everything in their life is perfect, but because they have stopped needing it to be. Your divine counterpart, wherever they are in the world, in their own process of becoming, will feel it too, across whatever distance separates you, across whatever timeline is still unfolding between your soul and theirs. This is not metaphor. This is the science of resonance made sacred. Like frequencies find each other, always, without exception, without effort, the way a tuning fork activates the nearest string tuned to its exact pitch, your embodied love frequency will call to its match across every dimension that separates you. The sixth key arrives in the dark, in the silence between chapters, in the spaces of your life that feel emptied out rather than filled up, the evenings that stretch too long, the mornings that arrive without the warmth of another presence, the moments in between plans when the absence of company throws you back onto your own company and you realize you are still learning how to be that company for yourself. Twin flame separation, whether from a person you've already met and recognized and lost for a season, or the one you haven't yet encountered, is not the universe's cruelty. It is its curriculum. The gap is not a punishment for your longing. It is not evidence that you have been forgotten or overlooked or passed over. It is a protected space, a sacred container, a season in which your soul is being given something infinitely more valuable than company it is being given itself. The chance to know itself without the constant modulation that comes from being in intimate proximity to another person's needs, another person's story, another person's gravitational field. In this space, if you let it, if you stop fighting it, and start entering it with the same reverence you would bring to any sacred threshold, you will discover parts of yourself that the presence of another would have kept hidden. Not because those parts are dark or dangerous, but because they are quiet. They require silence to surface. They are the whisper beneath the noise, the current beneath the wave, the still small voice that the great prophets of every tradition have understood can only be heard when everything else has fallen away. You will find the voice that was always there beneath the accommodating, the voice that knows what it actually thinks, what it actually needs, what it would choose if it were choosing for itself, rather than shaping itself to fit. You will find the vision that was always there beneath the waiting, the dream that was yours before anyone else's opinion had the chance to edit it. You will find the whole, magnificent, singular being that your counterpart is meant to encounter, not the version that has been quietly disappearing into the shape of what others needed, but the version that arrived here with a specific luminosity, a specific purpose, a specific quality of love that the world has not yet seen in full, because the full expression of it required this season of becoming. The seventh key does not unlock from the outside. It cannot be given to you by any transmission, however precisely it is delivered. It cannot be rushed by any practice, however faithfully observed. It cannot be forced by any amount of spiritual willingness, however genuine. It is the final integration, the moment when every wound you faced, every key you've turned, every night you sat alone in the quiet and chose your own wholeness anyway, converges into a state of readiness that your heart recognizes before your mind can name it. It arrives not like a thunderclap, but like dawn. Not sudden, not announced, just the slow, incremental lightening of everything that was dark, until you look up from your life one ordinary morning and realize that the quality of the light has changed, that you have changed, that something which was missing is no longer missing, not because it arrived from outside, but because it was restored from within. You will know this key has turned not by a dramatic announcement, but by a subtle, unshakable peace, a sense that you are no longer looking, not because you've given up, but because something inside you has finally, completely arrived. You have arrived to yourself, and from this place of arrival, everything else can finally find you. And this is the ultimate truth that everything in this transmission has been building toward. He is not late. Your divine counterpart is not lost in some parallel timeline, oblivious to your existence, unbothered by your longing. He has not forgotten you. He cannot forget you, because what exists between twin flames is not a feeling that can be forgotten. It is a frequency that has been woven into the architecture of creation itself. The love you are reaching for is not a myth your heart invented to survive loneliness. It is not a fairy tale the wounded inner child constructed to make the darkness bearable. It is a memory, an ancient, cellular, soul-level memory of a connection so real, so luminous, so utterly beyond the ordinary register of human relationship that your whole body has been aching toward it across lifetimes. Not just this one, across many, across chapters of this great soul story that began before this body took its first breath and will continue long after it takes its last. The reason it hasn't happened yet is not because you are unworthy. It is because you are being prepared, and so is he. Both of you are being shaped, in your separate silences and your separate healings and your separate seasons of darkness and dawning, into the precise versions of yourselves capable of holding a love this real, without destroying it. Because love at this frequency, divine love, counterpart love, the love that the poets and the mystics and the sacred texts of every tradition have strained toward in their most elevated moments, does not belong in an unprepared vessel. It does not arrive until the vessel has been tempered by exactly the kind of fire you have already walked through. Every heartbreak you have survived was not evidence that love doesn't choose you. Read that again slowly, if you need to. Every heartbreak you have survived was not evidence that love doesn't choose you. It was love refusing to let you settle. Refusing to allow you to make a permanent home in a temporary shelter. Refusing to permit the kind of comfortable numbness that comes from accepting less than what your soul came here to experience, simply because it was available and familiar and not quite painful enough to leave. Every ending cleared a layer. Every loss made room. Every person who walked away took with them a version of love that was never going to grow into what you actually need. And in the space they left behind, that aching, awful, terrifying space, your soul grew. Quietly, stubbornly, magnificently. Every night you lay awake wondering if you were too much or not enough. That was your soul in labor, bringing forth something that required the full intensity of that darkness to be born. Bringing forth the version of you that will look back at this season and finally understand, with a clarity that feels like oxygen, why it had to be exactly this way. Why every chapter was necessary. Why nothing was wasted. Why even the worst of it was, in the grammar of your soul's journey, completely and perfectly on time. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not being asked to be patient while the world moves forward without you, as though the world and its timelines have any authority over the unfolding of a soul-level story that was written before either of you arrived. Here, you are being asked to trust deeply, courageously, with every ounce of the spiritual strength you have been building, through every trial you have survived, that what is written in your soul is already in motion, that the coordinates are already set, that the signal is already being received, that somewhere in the vast and luminous field of this universe, your frequency is already finding its resonance, and that the moment of recognition, when it comes, and it will come, because what is written in the soul cannot be unwritten, will make every single moment of this journey feel not like wasted time, but like sacred preparation for the most important arrival of your life. Tonight, before sleep, place your hand on your heart. Let it rest there the way you would rest it on something precious, something that has been through a great deal and is still, miraculously, beating. And say this aloud, even if your voice shakes, especially if your voice shakes, because the shaking is not weakness, it is your body releasing what it has been holding too tightly. Say it, I am worthy of divine love. I release what was only meant to teach me. I trust the timing of my soul's journey. I am ready, and so it is. Let those words land somewhere deeper than your throat. Let them find the place in you that stopped believing this was possible. And let that place feel, perhaps for the first time in a very long time, that it has been found. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real from your heart journey. Then find someone else's and offer them a word of encouragement or love. This isn't content. It is collective healing. And love multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message reached you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is walking this exact path right now, wondering if they've been forgotten by love. Share this with them. Let it find them the way it found you. And if you felt that soul nudge, that quiet inner yes, subscribe. Stay in the flow. Stay in the frequency. You're not just watching, you're healing. This is your sacred space, and we are just getting started.